In this episode, I'm going to share with you an idea that you probably never heard of before on how to future-proof your business. Most business owners think that future-proofing means chasing viral trends or jumping on all the new platforms, that you've got to stay cutting edge with every new technology, and they feel like they need to reinvent their brand every year. But here's the catch. The more you chase, the more fragile your business becomes. There's a type of future-proofing your business that is much more stable. In this episode, we're going to expose the myths and uncover what really makes a business unshakable, no matter what changes in the future. Let's dive right in. Let's start out with some rapid fire myth busting. We've got 4 myths. So myth number 1, future-proofing means constantly adopting the newest platform or trend. I see this all the time with my clients. They burn out chasing platforms, or they were trying to create content that goes viral. But once we build a search-based system, they stop scrambling, they settle down, and they start seeing consistent lead-generating results. Myth number 2. The best way to stay relevant is to reinvent your brand every year. I'll just say that sounds way too exhausting, and it's not necessary. Myth number 3. Automation is cold and removes the personal touch from business. So personal touch is very important, and so I can understand your hesitation about automating things. You just have to differentiate what steps can you automate and what steps should you not automate so you can still keep a personal touch. So for example, my business, I answer a lot of questions. My strategy requires an educational component. So if the first step I have is for somebody to jump on a Zoom call with me, and I'm just going to teach and answer questions, then on my next Zoom call, I'm teaching and I'm answering those questions about the strategy. Same thing on the 3rd call, same thing on the 4th call. That is time that is not well spent, because I can create a video that answers those questions, or I can send them a book, or I can do a webinar that a lot of people attend at the same time, and I can do that prior to my call. So they can get the training, they can get the understanding of those questions, or they can learn the strategy, and then when we have a call or a strategy session, we don't have to spend time doing those things. So that's a case where I'm still being personal, I'm still having a one-on-one conversation with people, but a lot of the basics are covered in an automated way. Myth number 4. Evergreen content doesn't work anymore. Well, there are a lot of strategies that come and go, and let's just talk about one that you maybe heard of before, like an evergreen webinar. I think that those are working less and less, but that's not the evergreen type of content that I'm talking about. So an evergreen webinar is, instead of doing a live webinar, you record it, but you set it up so that when people watching it, they feel like it's live. And so it can go 24/7, 7 days a week. The reason I don't really consider that evergreen content is you still have to promote it. You do paid ads or whatever to send people to that registration page to get them to this recorded webinar. So it's not like you're creating a post that is regularly pulling in people for months and years to come in the future. You continually have to pay to get people to go and click it. So for that reason, it's not really evergreen. But imagine if you could create a content, whether it was a webinar recording or something, that you just post and it continues to get views. You know, you don't have to do anything more to it. You don't have to promote it or anything, and it will just continue to get traffic. Another amazing thing about evergreen content, because you're not having to promote it and promote it and promote it, you just create it and it runs for itself for years, is you can create another piece of evergreen content, and another, and another, and another. So you can just, the more you create, the more momentum it builds. So in reality, we leverage YouTube, and every YouTube video that we create for my clients, we do the filming, we do the launch, we post it on YouTube for them. That one video doesn't completely transform their business, but it just starts bringing in a trickle of really valuable traffic. So they'll start generating a lead here, and a lead there, and a lead the next week, and a lead the next week. But then we put out another video, and another video, and another video. In fact, when my clients come here, we'll film 20 of these videos in a single day. So they're able to be really, really efficient, but we're able to build massive momentum over time with these YouTube videos. Now, it's really important to position yourself as the authority. So when people find you, they see you as the expert, the person that can help them, and that there's this relationship of trust that's built. Now, I do have another episode, I'll link to it right up here. It's called What is Authority Marketing? If that's a new concept for you, then I do highly recommend you check out that episode. So what it does is it positions you above all your competitors. Your competitors are out there chasing the trends, or they're doing different tactics to try and trick the algorithm or trying to spam the planet. But you, on the other hand, can be much more strategic and build much better relationships. Like these leads that you're going to generate are referral quality, and you're going to rank above all your competitors. How do I stop having to rebuild or pivot my marketing every year? So if you still think that you need to rebrand every year, or if you're just making changes to your marketing constantly, with paid ads, I'm not an ads expert, but that's my understanding is you just kind of run out of effectiveness. You've got to find a new audience, or you've got to change your message. That's just par for the course for paid advertising. You're going to continually have to innovate and change and improve that over time. But when you focus on creating evergreen content, you don't have to worry about that. The hardest part is the research, and that's why I do that part for my clients. We do the research to find what are the questions that your target audience is asking. So whether they're going to YouTube, whether they're going to Google, or they're in ChatGPT, what are they typing in? What questions are they asking? What problem are they trying to solve? And so we do that research and we find those things. And so when you create a piece of content that answers that question, it's already evergreen, because this isn't the only time that people are asking that question. There's going to be people that have that same question a year from now, and same question 5 years from now. So the key is to create the content that answers that question. There's another huge advantage that creating content this way has for you. So you don't have to worry about algorithm changes. In the past, like going back 15 years ago, I had a web design service, and then I offered a search engine optimization service. Okay, so that doesn't work anymore, by the way, but we used to be able to get websites ranked at the top of Google. A couple years later, I discovered this YouTube strategy, and it worked way better than SEO, so we really started to focus on that. So it's been about 12 years that I've had this approach of getting content ranked at the top of YouTube. My videos were getting ranked at the top of Google too. Okay, so with that background, over those 12 years, there have been a lot of algorithm changes. And I have a lot of colleagues that are also in the YouTube world, but they're focusing on entertainment. They're focusing on becoming YouTubers. And YouTube's become their business. Their focus is ad revenue. So where my focus is leveraging YouTube for lead generation, right? All my clients are business owners, or most of them are coaches and consultants. So they leverage YouTube for lead generation for their business, not for advertising revenue from YouTube. Okay, so all of my colleagues that focus on YouTube for ad revenue, whenever there's been an algorithm change, sometimes it's been quite devastating. One of my friends, his income dropped down to 10% of what he was used to and what he was counting on, just because of a simple algorithm change. So here's the good news for you. If you focus on creating this evergreen searchable content that is meant for lead generation, in the last 12 years, I have never had an algorithm change hurt me. I'm focused on creating content that people are searching for. And what these search engines or AI tools are doing is they're making tweaks and changes to their algorithms to make it easier for people to find the content that they're searching for. So with the focus I'm teaching you here, you won't have to worry about algorithm changes. Another thing that I want to suggest is that automation can actually help relationships. Okay, so stick with me for a minute. Automation completely would take personal out of it, and that's not what we want. But if you can use automation to free up your time, then the time that you're spending with people becomes much higher quality, and you're not trying to get through things as quickly. You can actually spend real time with people. So automate where it can free up your time and help you to be more effective in building real relationships. Once you understand this piece of future-proofing your business, you'll start to see while some businesses steadily grow over time, and they're just always building momentum no matter what the market does. And you'll compare that to other businesses that always seem to be scrambling. They always seem to be chasing something or making a change. It's like they're reinventing themselves. They're rediscovering their expertise. So once you see this better path, I don't think you'll be able to unsee it. And I highly recommend you watch this video next. It's called What is Authority Marketing? This is the next step in understanding how to get these people to find you, to see you as the expert, how to rank above your competitors. In that episode, I show you how to make sure that you're the one that your target audience finds. I'll see you there.